Hey guys, Martin here, bringing over Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so this morning we finally got all of the info for Golden Week with the hit versus Kaioken Goku, which of course was I guess quote unquote leaked by iSeriously yesterday after some funny shenanigans. I made a video about that. But yeah, over the week we've been discussing when exactly the news was going to drop. It finally did, and of course it dropped at the it was like 2 AM UK time, so obviously I'm coming to this a little bit late. Everyone had been so sure it was the day before that I'd woken up super early, messed up my sleep schedule a little bit, and then I should have probably guessed it was definitely going to come out this morning and gotten up early again, but it is what it is. So some of you guys I know will have already seen the unit details, but we're going to go over what they do, talk about my thoughts for them. I haven't looked at their kits or anything. I always find that's the more interesting way of doing these videos, especially when the information is coming out a little bit later. These will be my genuine first reactions to these characters. So bearing in mind going into this, kind of I'm not super hyped about the pick, like the hit versus Kaioken thing. It's been a Dokkan Fest that people have wanted to see for ages, and I'm cool with that. It's not like a top pick for me, but obviously with the categories that Kaioken Goku is on, could definitely have some interesting options, could have a really good leader skill, especially if it involves power beyond Super Saiyan. But I mean, I can already kind of see from what we can see here that doesn't seem to be there, but we'll see. And of course, remember that for the last couple of years, the Golden Week TURs have come out as like the best TURs in the game. So let's go ahead and take a look at what these guys are doing. We've got their banner unit info as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. So Kaioken Goku, he is starting off as Kaioken. He is Super TEQ. So he's got reps of Universe 7 or full power. Oof, and that's it, right? Yeah, 3 key, HP 200, attack and defense 170. The additional 50% is for tournament participants or superheroes. Okay, so it's like basically all reps of Universe 7 then. Superheroes and full power combo. I mean, could have some okay characters on there. Bit disappointing for the leader skill. Like I say, I was very much hoping something involving like Realm of Gods, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, like really open that team up a little bit. But I don't know, probably could make a decent team, but that doesn't jump out at me as being super good. But take a look at his passive. Activates the entrance animation when there are 2 or more tournament participant allies or another Reps of Universe 7 ally on the team. Okay, so I mean, if you're running his team with like double Goku leads, then the other Goku counts as the other Reps of Universe 7 ally, so you don't have to worry about that. And then if you're just running him on his own on a different team, I guess are you always going to be running him with those kind of characters? Because that kind of excludes running him on like just a sort of Realm of Gods or Power Beyond Super Saiyan team, unless you have tournament participants characters, right? So like teams running him with like the LR gods and stuff like that. So that's weird. That gives him guard, all attacks, an extra 170 defense, and launch an additional super for 3 turns. Okay, so I mean, obviously something that is very useful. It's not necessarily make or break for the unit if you can't get it, I guess, but guard in those early turns obviously is going to be very helpful. Then his basic effects: key 3, attack and defense 200%, high chance to crit, high chance to dodge, randomly change key spheres of a certain type other than TEQ to TEQ. So he creates TEQ orbs for himself. When attacking with 12 or more key, he gets 200% attack and defense. He gets 100% extra defense when HP is 70% or more, and then 100% attack when HP is 70% or less. So obviously that activates when he attacks. So if you take a big chunk of damage at like the beginning of the turn and then he attacks, he's going to be doing extra damage. It's interesting that they do it that way around, because you'd think if you'd lost a big chunk of HP earlier in the turn, you would then rather he have more defense, but obviously he's then going to be able to hit a lot harder. You only need to get 1 TEQ orb and he gets 100% extra attack and a guaranteed additional super, so that's good considering he makes the orbs for himself anyway. When all allies attacking in the same turn are reps of Universe 7 characters, okay. An extra 70% attack and an extra 30% crit chance. That means he's got, what, 80% chance to crit on a full Reps of Universe 7 rotation. And then after the character or an ally's revival skill is activated, so he has a revival, guards all attacks, defense 170, launches an additional super, chance of performing a crit and chance of evading increased by 20%. So he goes to having 70% dodge, 70% chance to crit, and then obviously then on a full Reps of Universe 7 rotation, he would have 100% chance to crit. So post his or any other unit reviving, 70% dodge, 70% crit, guards all attacks, extra 170 defense. So that sounds kind of interesting. Okay, so he's got a standby. So enters a standby. Okay, so it's going to be like a standby revival type thing. Okay. Can be activated starting from the 4th turn, from his entry turn, which is annoying. Stands by for 4 turns. And then what's his... So he's on loads of categories, which is good. But he's got quite a few restrictions in his passive for, like, his peak performance. Like, you need to have those Reps of Universe 7 allies and stuff, which is a little bit disappointing. The Kaioken God Kamehameha greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn. Causes immense damage to the enemy while sacrificing 5% HP. I mean, yeah, they always give Kaioken Gokus the sacrificing HP on Super, which is a little bit annoying. But greatly raise attack and defense, 50% raise. Obviously, we know he gets a bunch of stats on Super and stuff anyway. So that's kind of interesting. And then this is his standby. That looks really cool. After entering standby mode. So it seems like he does have a super attack effect. So he does attack while in standby. Key 10 and attack 200%. Changes all key spheres to tech. Okay, so he's got like no defense, 200% attack. When attacking with 10 or more key, 159% attack. For every key sphere obtained, attack and chance to crit 10%. Okay, so if he's in slot 1, he changes the entire field to tech. So that means you're getting 23 orbs. So he gets an extra 230% attack and 230% chance to crit. Chance to dodge 10% within the turn before attacking. Okay, so he changes the whole field to tech. You put him in slot 1, pick up all the tech orbs, and that means he has a 230% chance to dodge. So obviously he dodges all the attacks in slot 1. Then he attacks. So he gets the extra attack. If you get 10 or more key spheres, which obviously you would, he gets an additional super as well. And then when he or another ally is KO'd, you revive with 70% HP recovered. And then the finish skill is activated. You get an extra 159% attack. So as you can see, he basically has no defense. So you put him in slot 1, he dodges all the attacks, does a big attack, and then obviously he loses that dodge chance. So then he gets hit and then dies, I guess is the way that's supposed to work. Because yeah, he massively raises attack for 1 turn. Yes, he gets no defense on super either. Massively raises attack for 1 turn, immense damage, and he sacrifices 10% HP. And then the finish effect is activated when the character's revival skill is activated. Counters with super intense power against the enemy who KO'd the character or an ally attacking in the same turn. So one of the units dies, whether it's him or somebody else on the rotation, then his finish skill for the standby activates, which is an attack, which does massive damage to the enemy that killed you. And then obviously he goes back to normal. I mean, that's really interesting. I do actually quite like this design. I think that this is cool, right? Where it's like, he changes all the... You put him in slot 1, he literally can't be touched, right? Unless the event disables dodge. You put him in slot 1, he's going to do a massive attack on this turn. I imagine the attack stat on this turn is going to be crazy high, which he then gets a guaranteed additional super. And obviously the whole point is he's then designed to die afterwards, because he does 2 supers, which means you sacrifice like 20% HP, and he's got no defense. So then after he's done his 2 supers, the enemy hits him and kills him, and then he does a massive damage counter, and then you revive. So I could definitely see situations where the combo of him like doing the 2 supers and then doing the damage from like the revive counter then like kills the enemy, right? And you go on to the next phase and you've now revived. That could be quite interesting. But then of course then he just switches back to the first form, which, I mean, initial thoughts, he doesn't seem like super crazy. I mean, obviously he's not really a slot 1 unit because he gets loads of stats when attacking. I mean, his post super defense and everything should be decent. Once he or an ally is revived, he then has permanent guard, a bunch of extra defense. I mean, post revive, he seems like he would be really good, right? Guard, loads of defense, 70% dodge, 70% crit. Guaranteed to basically get as long as you get a tech orb, he's getting like 3 supers a turn. So he seems like he could be very, very good and do a lot of damage. He doesn't seem crazy defensively. But then obviously in his normal form, I guess the interesting thing is going to be to see how good he is defensively after the revival against some of these toughest bosses. Because obviously the point of the like standby mode is to get that big attack off in slot 1 and then die and then revive. So certainly seems interesting. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. So then we move on to Hit. So Hit has a transformation, I guess, right before improvement. I guess this is what a lot of people speculate. This is going to be Hit's version of Get Serious, isn't it? So that's good, because we've had that same problem with Hit that we've always had with like Pycon, Piccolo, until the Power Awakened one came out, where they just all have the same name. So okay, so he's got at least 3 categories I can see there for his leader skill. He's Extreme Int, which is interesting because we already have an Int. Actually, I think, do we have a... We have a hit of every typing actually already, so let's see. So Universe 6, Rapid Growth or Accelerated Battle, 3 key, 200% 170, and then an additional 50 for tournament participants or super bosses. Interesting. I mean, Accelerated Battle we know is a great category, right, from Glorio, like keep getting buffs to his team with it. So this should be interesting. I guess that super bosses or tournament participants as the extra 50 though is not ideal, I don't think. Super bosses is very much like a dead category. Because I mean, like, a lot of the Universe 6 characters are going to be included under the tournament participants part anyway. So, and Hit's not normally a character that has, like, yeah, you can see he doesn't have big bad bosses. So a lot of the super bosses characters aren't necessarily going to go very well with him on his team either. So let's see, activates the entrance animation when there's another 2 or more tournament participants or another Universe 6 ally. So very similar to Goku, like double leads means he automatically activates this. Otherwise you need 2 tournament participants. That gives him a 20% chance to dodge, 160% defense, and an additional super attack for 6 turns. And then his base effect is 2 key, attack and defense 200%, high chance to crit, high chance to dodge, launches an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super. So for the first 6 turns, he's actually going to have 70% chance to dodge. When attacking with 12 or more key, he gets 100% attack and defense. For every attack performed, he gets an extra 60% attack within the turn. For every attack evaded, he gets an extra 60% defense and chance to evade 6% within the turn. So that's good. Each time the character performs 3 or more super attacks in battle, the attacked enemy gets minus 30% attack and defense once within the turn, seals the enemy attack once within the turn, and interrupts the attacked enemy once within the turn. So if you do, once you've done your 3rd super, I mean, the sealing and attack lowering and stuff isn't relevant in a lot of events, but then yeah, that attack does an action break. And then when the target enemy is either attack down, defense down, stunned, or sealed, and then HP is 60% or less, you get 60% extra attack and attacks guaranteed to hit. I mean, this bottom part, like, you're probably not going to see that active, like, all that often. So this is interesting. I mean, he has 1 built-in additional, which is a 70% chance to become a super. So, obviously, he needs to do 3 supers to activate this to get the action break. But you will see turns where he just does a super and then an additional normal. And then his active skill Improvement can be activated after the character performs 6 or more attacks. Okay, so they don't have to be supers. Or evades 3 or more enemy attacks. And then changes stance due to improvement. Okay. And then his super attack is raise attack and defense with immense damage and a high chance to stun. Okay. So then once you change stance into the improved hit, which then means just like the Pycon, right? It's technically a transformation. So even though he has the same name, he will then link with other hits. And then let's see what we're looking at here. So basic effect 3 key, attack and defense 260. Great chance to crit, great chance to dodge. Launches an additional super, launches an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super. Attacks guaranteed to hit. Attacked enemy, attack and defense minus 30%. Seals the enemy super attack. When attacking with 12 or more key, 160% attack and defense, and then action break. For every attack performed, 66% attack within the turn. For every attack received or evaded, defense 66% and chance to dodge 6%. When all allies in the same turn are Universe 6, you have a Scouter. Okay, that's pretty cool. When receiving an attack from an enemy hit by the super attack, chance to evade 16%. So interesting, because unless it's in slot 1, which then means this kind of doesn't work, but he sees the super if you've got a full Universe 6 rotation, then as long as it's not before you attack in slot 1, you can then put him in that slot where the super is. He supers the enemy. Obviously, if they can be sealed, they just get sealed. If they don't, it means he has an 86% chance to dodge their super attack. And of course, if they do like a normal attack before that, and he either dodges or receives it, he gets the extra 6%. So then it goes up to being like 92%. So if there's a couple of attacks before the super, he actually can get up to 100% chance to dodge their super attack. But obviously, we know a lot of these big bosses now like to super attack like in slot 1, and obviously this ability doesn't really help with that. He's still going to have a 70% chance to dodge in slot 1, but he doesn't have damage reduction or anything like that. Like, neither of these guys, Goku has guard, but like neither of them have damage reduction, so neither of these guys are going to be eating slot 1 supers. The only time like Goku can really go in slot 1 is on that standby turn where he changes all the orbs and then dodges, and then he just dies after that, right? So he does get a ton of supers within the turn, and he has an active skill. The time skip Molotov can be activated when HP is 66% or less, or when facing only one enemy from the 6th turn. Ultimate damage to the enemy delays a single attack. So ultimate damage, big damage, and a action break. Active skill after transforming. That's pretty good. Because by the time you've transformed and you're later in the event, like getting near to the end, like the 6th turn from the start of battle condition would be fulfilled anyway, so that's pretty good. And then his super greatly raise attack and defense and cause immense damage with great chance to stun the enemy. Okay, so actually I didn't see, is it? Yeah, he is stacking on both. So he raised attack and defense pre-transformation. I didn't notice that doesn't say for 1 turn. So yeah, he is actually a stacker, which is interesting. So cue everybody then saying like he's a Festival of Battles character, but I mean, I guess he would be very good in that event, right? Especially later with the scouter, having that extra dodge chance and everything. So he seems good. The problem is, it's just like any other hit, like with his link set and like the categories that he's on, obviously the restriction that he has in his passive for like, once he's transformed, it doesn't really matter. The only real restriction he has in terms of allies is he gets the Scouter with a full Universe 6 rotation, which is obviously very good, but he would still be usable without that. The pre-transformed version, like he gets a lot of these abilities that are locked behind like doing 3 attacks or like status effects and stuff. He just gets those once he's transformed. The pre-transformed version doesn't seem that crazy, but obviously in order to transform he only has to do 6 attacks, which he's always going to do a minimum of 2 every turn, or dodge 3 attacks, which you could quite easily get in like 1 turn, right, with the right RNG. So he seems good. He doesn't seem anything particularly crazy though. Like neither of these guys, I could be completely wrong, right, and we see them in game, but like from reading their kits, they don't jump out as being like, okay, these are the 2 new best TURs. I mean, again, Goku could be hitting absolutely insane numbers, especially like post revival and everything, so I'm not 100% sure, but we'll have to see. And then we'll take a quick look at the banner unit. So we've got a Piccolo for Goku, Battle of Wits or Gifted Warriors. I don't like this though. They've updated Yellow Coin LR's leader skills. They've updated all the leader skills, but the banner units are still getting 130. So banner units are still just completely pointless as leads, apart from like maybe sub units for Battlefield. But yeah, it's 200% defense, high chance to dodge, and 70% damage reduction. Okay. When attacking, he gets 500% attack. For each attack received, he loses 10% damage reduction, no more than 50%. And then attack 50%, no more than 5. Really? I was going to say, he seems like, we read this first little section. It was like, okay, he could be quite useful. But then, yeah, he loses his damage reduction and then he loses attack. For every attack evaded, he gets extra defense. For 4 turns from his entry turn, character's super attack will be sealed. Wait, so he can't super for the first 4 turns, because it doesn't say enemy. So he can't super for the first 4 turns and has a 20% chance to dodge. So he has 70% chance to dodge for the first 4 turns. Starting from the 5th turn, key 3 and attack 500%. 1 time only, attack 500% and gets a crit when attacking with 12 or more key. and then chance to dodge 20% as the third attacker in the turn. Okay, so what... So I guess the idea of the design for this guy is that you try to get him hit as little as possible in the first couple of turns, because he's going to have 70% chance to dodge. He can't super, and then when he comes in on like turn 5, he then gets this massive attack buff, and obviously gets the extra 500 for one turn with a guaranteed crit. So he gets a huge attack buff, and then he can super, and obviously gets a guaranteed crit. But like, you want to make sure he's not getting hit early on, otherwise he's losing all of his defensive capabilities. What does his super attack actually do? Massively raise attack for one turn, does supreme damage, so he doesn't even get defense on his super. So this guy is just like a weird gimmick, like basically doesn't do anything for the first couple of turns except potentially dodging attacks, and then comes in and gets like one big attack stat with a guaranteed crit. But then at that point, as you're then later into the event, if he has taken any hits, then he's basically losing like all of his defensive capability. So yeah, that just seems really bad. I don't think there's a lot of situations or events that jump to mind where it's like, oh yeah, this guy could be really good for this, right? So yeah, that's bizarre. And then the banner unit for hit is a Magetta. So he's got Universe 6 or tournament participants. Key 1, attack and defense 200%, 30% damage reduction. When he receives an attack, he gets 200% attack and defense. When all allies attacking in the same turn are Universe 6, he changes key spheres non-physical to physical and has guard. When attacking with 12 or more key, all allies defense 20%, Universe 6 allies attacks 20%. When receiving a super, extra 20% damage reduction, and for one time only, an extra 20% damage reduction. So when he receives a super, the first time he receives a super, he has 70% damage reduction. And then from then on, when he receives a super, he has 50%. Otherwise, in general, he has 30%. After he receives a super attack, he will be stunned for 3 turns. But then I guess he's just a really like a floating support character, because he gives all allies extra defense. He's got that little bit of damage reduction. He's got the when receiving an attack 200% defense, which we've seen recently from characters like Kid Goku for Saiyan Day and stuff like that, which like that does give him a pretty significant buff. Like if his start of turn defense is like, let's say it's like 500k. I don't know how high this guy's defense would be, right? But if he has 500k defense, as soon as he takes a hit, he jumps to 1.5 million with 30% damage reduction, 70% against the first super he's going to take. So if he's just casually floating in slot 3 to provide support, chances are he's not going to take a super that often. And then also if he gets stunned for 3 turns, like he's already attacked, and when he comes back again, like he'll be unstunned. So I guess that's the thought behind this guy. He only has 6 links. He's only on 2 categories. Supreme damage to the enemy, raise attack and defense by 30% for 2 turns. So yeah, he gets a bit of extra defense on super as well. So yeah, I guess he's just like a floating slot 3 unit that can kind of survive the odd super or 2. But yeah, it doesn't seem particularly great. Both the banner units seem kind of eh. And then yeah, Hit and Goku seem interesting, but they don't jump out as like, oh yeah, these are like the new best TURs. So definitely interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I have made a tweet. I'll put the link, I'll pin the link as like the first comment. But I have made a tweet as always to make my community response video. So do let me know your full thoughts over there, and I will make a video about that. But yeah, very interesting. I'm going to do a separate video about the full data download, because there's tons of other info about events and like the EZAs and stuff like that. So Golden Week going to be starting very soon. Lots of stuff incoming. Doesn't seem as hype, I guess, as we were expecting. But again, like I always try and reserve judgment on some of these things until we see them in game. Maybe not so much for the banner units, right? Because they do seem pretty mid. But Hit and Goku definitely have the potential to be interesting. So I guess we will wait and see. Let me know all your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.